Hi guys, a very good morning to all of you. We are here today wishing all of you a very happy International Women's Day. And it is of course coinciding with a very special day for us, which is the launch of Office in You. Office in You is our workwear line for Indian women. We are here to celebrate womanhood, and of course it's a special gift for all you women out there and all the men out there who want to gift Office in You for the women in their lives. So without much delay, I know we've delayed a little bit, but we have a very interesting panel over here. As you can see, these are women who are from various walks of life who've joined us here today for the launch of Office in You. So I have to thank you all, and they are our first brand ambassadors. They are women, they're women leaders, they are inspirational, they are they have a such a don't cough, Rashi. They have a strong fan following for the kind of work that they do, and we couldn't have had better women to endorse our brand. So we have Rashi Anand. Rashi is runs this NGO called Laksham. Very brilliant work that she does with underprivileged kids, and she's joined us here today. Very different kind of work from the typical work that you think that you'll sit in office and do. We have Neha Anand, who heads digital for HCL, and I've seen her work. It is brilliant, and you must follow that as well. So of course HCL has grown over years, and I'm sure people like Neha are the women who are behind the scenes, unlike the models that we have on the ramp. So here is Neha for you. We have Devapriya Khanna, who is a corporate trainer who also takes care of a lot of personal branding. So that's a whole new space when it comes to marketing. So one is branding your brands, but it's also about your personal branding. And it's very interesting when when it comes to that bit of marketing. We have Gunjan Khanna. Gunjan is from the education background with almost 15 years of experience in education. She's a teacher at the Springdale School, the famous Springdale School. You don't get admission in that school that easy. So we have to try some pull here. We have Sakshi Trikha. Sakshi is from EY, again with almost 15 years of experience. And these are the women who have faced challenges when it comes to clothing. And we have our own challenges when it comes to clothing. I think all of us have gone through that stage where we stand blank in front of our wardrobes and we don't know what to wear. So we are here to discuss that. I'll first start with Devapriya. So Devapriya, you have had your own challenges when it comes to picking the right outfit for yourself, and you're always in the front face. So I'm sure a lot of people look at you, the way you carry yourself, the way you dress up. So how do you manage this whole aspect of clothing when it comes to picking the right outfit for yourself?
So Varija, it might look effortless, but there's actually a lot of thought that needs to be put into this. I started my corporate career 18 years ago, and things were very different at that time.
I remember we met at you were working with Oriflame.
Yes, and then I think we did. I had a show, and I came running to you to sort me out on the outfit front. So that's how it used to be, because there was no one-stop shop where you could go and get your workwear sorted. But 18 years back, it was very different. We knew that we'd either have to just get into a suit or for more formal occasion sari. But over the years, I've seen a huge change. As we've traveled internationally on work, we've been exposed to the European styles. I've headed marketing for 2 Scandinavian brands, so we've worked very closely with the Scandinavian women, and their sense of style is immaculate, on point when it comes to workwear. So so shopping abroad for workwear then became a norm for us, because we wouldn't find ready solutions here. Now many brands are offering options for women, but you're not really sure that when you enter a conference or a meeting, you wouldn't find like 4 other women wearing the same clothes. So it is a challenge, but we're very glad that you're here and you're presenting this a solution for us today. So thank you.
But I remember having spoken to you, so I've seen you mostly in monochrome colors and mostly very neutral ones. So
Yes.
you go with the blacks and the greys and the blues. So I think it was quite a challenge for us to sort of design something what we designed for her today and
Totally.
make
Yeah.
sure that she picks up this color. So what do you have to say about that?
I have to say that you've completely pushed me out of my own comfort zone. So my personal style is very classic,
Yeah.
right? So I'm very comfortable wearing what she's wearing.
Huh?
Straight, dark colors, for many unstated reasons. But I'm safe wearing straight cuts, very classic cuts, very classic colors. But you sort of convinced me to wear this color today, and I'm pleasantly surprised. I mean, normally you don't wear such flowing clothes also. So the shape is very different, the color is very different. But I feel comfortable, I feel pretty much okay doing it. So I think I'm going to experiment more.
Super. So we actually for all those people who've just logged in right away, we are sitting here with this panel, women from varied walks of life, and we are here launching Office and You. That's a workwear brand which has come with a lot of research on Indian body shapes, Indian thought processes, Indian cultures, and the kind of spaces that we work in and the cultural surroundings that we sort of operate in. We have Neha Anand from HCL with us. And Neha, what do you have to say about the challenges that you face when it comes to choosing the right outfit for yourself?
Varija, first of all, thank you for having us here. I think this is such an important topic, and sometimes we kind of miss it because it's so part of our everyday. And definitely, it is a challenge to find the right outfit, and especially with a global role like mine, where I'm kind of constantly attending international conferences, meeting clients across the globe. It kind of becomes difficult to find the right outfit, and also having the time to kind of go look around, and get the right fits. So I think more than the colors, the fits for me are really, really important. And with the body types that most of Indian women have, it's very difficult to get the right kind of fit, from a ready-made garment. And so I think for me, it's also important to take the Indian culture and, like you rightly mentioned, the sari or the suit, how do we carry the, the Western wear yet have that whole Indian culture also embedded into it, And sometimes you want to kind of have a variety of very, very Western yet carry the Indian culture with you. So I'm really liking what you've done here, with all the outfits. It's got a great mix of the Indo-Western.
Do you want to show it to everybody?
Yeah,
Or do you want to stand and see?
Yeah.
So what we've designed for Neha, it's actually a tunic, which you can pair it with the leggings. You can just wear it as a dress.
I mean, I love the the long cut you've done here. So it's not a regular dress.
Yeah.
From the front it is, but it has this little long, at the back.
Asymmetrical.
Yeah,
Yes.
it looks really, really great, and I think for the Indian body type, it gives it a good balance.
So what's interesting here, and what you will see, the amount of research that we've done on Indian body types. 70 to 80% of the Indian body type is a pear-shaped body. When we say a pear shape, the pear that we have, so it's typically like this. So whereas most of the international brands that we get, or what is available, is meant for a rectangular shape or a strawberry shape. When I say strawberry shape, it's inverted pear. So your top is heavy and your bottom is less. So I think that is where we figured out that most women sort of have challenges. Now there's a whole different challenge. Of course, we have these women from the corporate world, but there was a different challenge that we faced when it, when we went to different sectors, because not everywhere you can probably wear a blazer, a coat, or a dress. So so Gunjan, why don't you share the kind of challenges you face, you being a teacher coming from the education background? What are the kind of clothing that you look forward to, and what's your pain point?
First of
all, congratulations and for making Women's Day so special.
Huh.
And when I heard about Office and You, I thought it must be the regular trousers and skirt and blazers. But then you intimated me about it, and I'm really excited and happy because no one had ever thought about us actually. And you all have to agree that appearance, of course, it matters for everybody, but for us as teachers, because we are role models to our children. When we go to our classrooms, what we wear is how we feel, and if that energy, that power is felt inside, it is spread, not only with students as well as with colleagues. And it's a challenge to always looking for something which is not a regular suit, because we also want to wear something trendy and stylish, and picking up a tunic from somewhere and then a palazzo from somewhere, it's always a challenge. And of course she's come up with something, and Rashi, I think, would agree with it. Yes, because we are somewhat in this similar field. So what do we have, what do you have for us? Let us know.
So you know what, so we have something very interesting. We've devised our collections in such a way. We have 3 separate categories, and all of you can also log on to our website, which is live today. It's called www.officeandyou.in. So we have 3 categories. One is called the corporate. Corporate is meant for women like Neha, for Devapriya, for Sakshi, who are typically working in a corporate environment and have the luxury of wearing more Western outfits. The second category what we have is feet on street. It's FOS. So these are the women who are out, who are on the road sometimes, who are commuting, taking public transport, have to visit, are in maybe labor intensive jobs, architecture, interiors, sales profile, and they have to be out and have to battle the weather. So it's feet on street. And also keeping in mind the Indian culture and the surroundings, the feet on street is more like a Indian Western fusion, wherein you can wear the tops the way you want to wear it, like a dress, or you can team it with a palazzo. And so you're sort of in an environment where you can be conservative if you wish. The sleeves are relatively longer and you're mostly covered. The third is called the socials. Socials is party wear. So it is, so let's say you have to hop to a party or a conference or an award function where you're representing your organization, and you have to be slightly more dressy than your regular office wear. So what I am actually wearing is social, so that the color is slightly brighter with a little brooch here. So it's more fun, but it's not going over the top in terms of the party jazzy wear that you wear otherwise. So it's still in the limits of what an office wear would be. But now coming to Rashi, typically what Gunjan has been facing, being in, when I spoke to her, she and when we wanted.
When we go for Western wear, what do we have? Blacks, blues, greys. And mostly, if I go for a size 16, mostly that is what I go for. The shoulders are drooping. So it's not our size, it's not our body shape sizes. So of course, I think she has come up with something for us.
So Rashi, would you like to share your typical day at work, and what is the kind of clothes that you opt for?
So first of all, congratulations for Office and You, and happy Women's Day to all of us here, all the beautiful women, and thank you Varija for making us so beautiful today.
Thank you,
and I completely agree with Gunjan because I'm into development sector. So I work with underprivileged women and children, and every day I'm hopping here and there. It's nothing like a fixed office space for me. So I have to go to slum areas, I have to go to bastis and work, and from there maybe I have to go to a government department or a corporate for funding or for something or the other. So it becomes really difficult what to carry because it's a mix of everything. You have to go to an office also, you have to go to a slum area also, you have to go to police department also. So usually it becomes very difficult to carry something which is apt for everything. So usually what I do, I keep a change in my car so that it can be merged on. But when I spoke to you, you did mention that you have a combination which I can carry even to a slum area, and that can even taken forwarded to a corporate office or something like that. And I think what I am wearing is a perfect combination, because you just explained me that this can be worn as a tunic as well, and if I want something covered in also, I can just pull on my plazo with it.
Super. So that's the challenge that we faced, and you know, we had been researching a lot, because I myself, if I have to go outsourcing, we're also into interiors.
Correct.
If I have to be on a constructional site, I have a separate wardrobe altogether when it comes to, you know, dealing with labor. So you obviously can't be in blazers and skirts and trousers there, and I think that's pretty much the challenge that you also face. So for all the viewers who've just joined us right now, we are here for the launch of Office and You, where we have reinvented the workwear for Indian women, and specifically for Indian women, it's very, very Indian in its spirit. And we are joined by you know, this esteemed panel of women coming from various walks of life. I'll reintroduce. That's Rashi Anand from Laksham NGO. We have Neha Anand from HCL. We have Devapriya Khanna from you know, she's into personal branding and she's a corporate trainer. We have Gunjan Khanna, who is from Springdale School. She's a teacher. We have Sakshi Trikha, and we have some nice wind coming on Women's Day, you know, and I love to be blown in the wind, of course. We have Sakshi Trikha from EY. Sakshi, I have to come back to you. You have your own challenge when it comes to you know, picking the right outfit, and you're very, very particular about the kind of clothes that you wear. So would you like to share your pain points? And I'm sure a lot of women will relate to, you know.
So absolutely, first of all, a big congratulations, and very happy with all that's happening here, and kudos to you.
Thank you.
When I look at clothing and also what is it I want, two things. One is variety and second is authenticity. When I say variety, it's I don't want to go in and only have a specific set of clothes depending upon what I'm feeling like, where I'm going, what's the occasion. I need to have more, which is probably currently a gap in the market, I would say. The second one is authenticity. I want to wear something that's me, and how many shops or how many places we are able to get things that people relate to us. I don't want to be boxed into, okay, this is like a trouser, this is what corporate women wear. Maybe I'm more zing to my day that day and I want to wear something different. So these are the two things I'm looking for, variety and for authenticity to what and who I am.
Super. So we will also entertain some questions here. We are on Facebook Live and we'll be happy to entertain as many questions as possible. So please do send in your questions and queries to me or to the panel. If we can answer it right now at live, we would love to do that, or we would probably answer it much later. And thank you for all the congratulations that are coming in. Please do log on to officeandyou.in. You'll find a lot of literature there. And for a change, what we've done is we've looked at this brand. Of course, we have other brands like Leela, we have Varaja, which deals into bridal wear. For a change, we've looked into this brand more scientifically. So when I say scientifically, so aesthetics is not just about arts. It's also about the science that goes behind it. It is also about the kind of textiles which are required. We look at women sitting throughout the day and in their office. We are looking at anti-crease, anti-perspirant sort of fabrics. We are looking at different body structures. We are looking at the colors, and you will find a lot of interesting colors. So Devapriya, of course, had the challenge in terms of colors. What is the kind of colors that you suggest that you know, suit you the best, or you know, typically Indian women pick up?
So typically Indian women are picking up what's available in the market. What's available in the market as far as ready-made workwear goes is your classic colors. So you have your solids, your navy, your black, you have greys. At best you have a red. But what you've made me wear today is something that's you know, this onion pink color is not something that is readily.
She's not able to digest that she's wearing onion
no,
pink.
I'm great with it. And I think what you're wearing, these earthy tones, that what the two of you are wearing also, they're very endearing to the Indian woman's complexion. So you spoke some time back about representing India in global markets. So you know, these colors are so very Indian. Jewel tones, rich mustards and all, moss green. These are not colors that normally European women would wear as far as corporate wear goes. So just through these colors, a person like you would be able to just completely stand out, and even if she's wearing a very Western cut, she'll be able to cut through the international clutter and represent her country in a very authentic way. As she
In
had
fact, I
mentioned.
want to just add to that, so I come from the technology sector, right, HCL Technologies, and so very, in the last few years, we've been moving to all the new technologies, whether it's artificial intelligence, IoT, and if you look at the usage of colors, even in terms of the logos that now these companies are using, they're all bright. They're not the dull blacks.
Break the clutter.
Absolutely. And how do you really stand out? And so, if you can actually carry those colors also with you in what you're wearing, I think that will make a huge difference, for you to
So
stand
Neha,
out.
very interestingly, when we did this research on color, and there's a whole thing called color psychology. Of course, we've detailed the literature on our website as well. So when we color is the first thing that you notice, even before you notice the personality and the figure of the person. So we are always very, very conscious about the kind of clothes that we are wearing. We are very conscious about our figure, and most women are. I think that's the pain point most women have. We always have some pain point, either your shoulders are big or your hips are big or your arms are big, and you're trying, there's one point that you're not okay, or your height is short, whatever that it might be. But the color can actually cover up on everything else, because that is the first thing that makes an impression. And one is the color that you choose as per your personality. So there's a certain thought process. So like you said, so you choose the monochromes like the blacks and the blues and the orange, the reds. Now that of course represents your thought process in a certain way, but also you can also project a certain thought process. So you are in command of your style and your personality. So there are days that you're feeling gloomy, but you want to feel happy. So you pick up the happy colors. There is a certain kind of person that you are. So let's say blue is a very safe color that I suggest when you go for your interviews or you go for your presentations, because the perception of blue is somebody who's trustworthy. So you can trust. So whenever you're going for your interviews, so you pick up a color like blue. So obviously when the person, so that's a subtle perception that the other person has. But at times when you are not a particular personality, but you want to camouflage to be a certain kind of personality, so you can opt for a color which is maybe not you, but you have to sort of project yourself like that. So when I spoke to you about the kind of colors, again the color tones, the wheatish skin tones primarily most women have. So the darker and the earthy tones sort of fall in better. But somebody who has the luxury of, let's say, a fairer skin tone, the earthy tones as well as the pastel tones work very well. And which is why sometimes when you choose a particular color, some people say you're glowing. So your glowing is because that color reflects best on your skin tone. So we normally choose, we typically categorize a wheatish, a dark or a fairer skin tone. But what we've done is we've gone a step further. There are warmer skin tones and there are colder skin tones. So, so the warmer skin, so in India, warmer skin tone is a yellowish skin tone. So we are not typically pinkish skin tones, we are yellow skin tones. So warmer skin tone should go for a warmer color. So you will see most women, they are better off with beiges than the greys.
Yes, that's true.
Now that's a very subtle, it's there in our subconscious. All the science is there in our subconscious. We will obviously, so even if you're going and picking up a bridal lehenga, you'll go for a gold lehenga than a silver lehenga. Why? Because your skin tone is warm and there's an obvious connection that this is what is going to suit me best. But again, when you speak about international brands, they are meant for colder skin tones, which is why you will find very less of beige and you will find mostly grays.
Yes, that's true. In fact, you know what you mentioned about color psychology is something that, of course, during my entire branding and marketing career, we've been looking at, but for products, for brands. But here is a very interesting situation where when you're talking about people and how color psychology can play such an important role in helping individuals stand out.
Absolutely.
And yes, of course, there are safe colors. I've always hidden behind safe colors, but we talked about mood and the connection of mood with color. What I've always done is, if I'm feeling very perky and bright, or if I'm going to be on stage speaking or something, I've always pulled in those colors through accessories. So that's an option, you know. In fact, I wanted to ask you as well, is that at some stage maybe you can explore going into scarves and things like that. Have you thought about it? Because
so
again,
right now we have these brooches.
Yes.
If you can see these brooches, so they just sort of work very well. We of course, so we are not going to be a spring summer or autumn winter sort of a line. Every 20 days we will have something new coming on our website.
That's fabulous.
So your question about the same clothes other women are wearing when you're going to an occasion, I think we would be able to sort that out. Yes.
How about tailor making our type? We have a design and we kind of.
So no, that won't be practical in a Pretwear label. And but what we have done is, on our website we have small, medium, large, XL, and it is. Again, the small, medium, large, XL, our sizes are relatively bigger than the regular small, medium, large, XL. And if your size is not there on the website, you can send in your size. You can send a mail, contact us at officeandyou.in, and we'll customize that for you. So we are looking at.
I would like to add on few things. So like we just spoke about colors. So what would you suggest on fabric? Because your second theme, which was more about being on streets. So you need to carry a fabric which is comfortable, and of course looking at the weather in Delhi specifically or anywhere. So it's either acute summers, acute winters. So how do you manage on the fabrics? Because cotton is something which is not easy to carry, and polyester comes as an option which nobody really likes to carry. So what would you suggest on that?
So there are alternative options. We look at some bit of blended fabrics also. Of course, Feet on Street primarily focuses on breathable fabrics and also focuses on antiperspirant, considering you're combating the weather. So we look at a lot of viscose options. So viscose again is viscose or a modal, which is again a natural fabric, easy to maintain. So something what you're wearing, it has a slight bit of sheen. So it has a slight bit of formalness, that is primarily because it is out of viscose. And it has gone through an anti-crease process, so it doesn't crease as much through the day, considering you will be combating. Yeah.
I feel the same. When you enter a classroom in summers where you have like around 40 children, it is so difficult to face it and stand there. And if something, when you are comfortable in your own skin and you're wearing something breathing, it's so good. And I could observe something. I had seen some of your outfits there also. Out of these 5 of us, I think 3 of them I can wear them to school, because we need to follow certain codes of conduct. We are teachers. We cannot just go Western totally or something. But if I wear a palazzo with this, I can wear it to school. If I wear a pant or something, I can go to school, of course. So this is something really good you've come up with.
The versatility of your collection,
Yeah.
is great, because
And they're all
concept
different.
of clustering then comes in, because we can pick up pieces like basics, and then we can team it up with maybe lowers or keep it together and create a cluster of 5 or 8 pieces.
Yeah.
And depending on the occasion, you can dip into
match
it.
it up.
It's a perfect fusion.
But what are your thoughts on figure correction? And we hear so much about it, cosmetically. But is there a way through clothing you could look at figure correction?
So figure correction, so I have been working on figure correction for many years, and again, the way I treat design, for me it's more science than art. And So as I said, most women have issues, including me. We have issues about certain body shape, and we try to camouflage that. And most women do that by wearing tummy tuckers or body shapers. We try to create an illusion of a perfect body through the cut that we have, the silhouette, the pattern that we cut for the outfit. And so I'll just give you a small example. So let's say if you have a 16-inch shoulder which is disproportionate to the rest of your body. So what we do is we make the outfit with a 15-inch shoulder. So your shoulder finishes, so the outfit shoulder finishes here, whereas your actual body shoulder is an inch longer. So we give the illusion that your shoulder is just finished before. So we try to correct that. So that is one example, and there are of course other aspects. So women face issues with regards to sagging bust, they have big tummies, or the upper torso is bigger than the lower torso, and big arms. So there are various figure corrections that we sort of take care of, even in terms of like I said, in Indian body types we have mostly pear shaped bodies where the hip is bigger than the upper body. So we try to camouflage that through the kind of patterns that we cut through. And so we've done an extensive research on the kind of body types that actually exist in India, and we have averaged it out, and that is where this collection. So it's been actually years and years of research in terms of dealing with Indian bodies.
These are interesting hacks, huh? We call them hacks in our
Because
profession.
when you're going through all those, problem areas, I don't know how many of us were mentally taking off.
Yeah, she is explaining it so well. She's a very good teacher.
So very interesting insights. Yes.
Yeah, so we do have so there are a lot of height issues. So most women in India, an average height would be 5 feet 2 inches, and so how do we give an illusion of a longer height? That is also part of the clothing that we create, typically because most women are wearing again Western brands where your height is cut, and which is meant for a 5 feet 6 inch or 5 feet 7 inch. So I think that has also been a challenge. So we've averaged out a lot of common problems, and I would welcome more problems coming in from other friends of ours and viewers who've just joined us. We are here in the middle of launching a brand, Office NU, and it's workwear for Indian women, and you can log on to officenu.in, and it's open to shop right now. We are joined in by the esteemed panel of women here coming from various walks of life. There's Gunjan from the education background, there is Sakshi who is from EY, there is Devapriya Khanna, there is Neha Anand, there is Rashi who runs this NGO. So Rashi, coming back to you, so do you have sort of a dress code for your other people who are working in your organization, and why,
So
if so?
basically we have a lot of volunteers and interns joining us throughout the year, and we majorly have students from Delhi, from Bombay, and international students who work as volunteers and interns. So their job is basically to go and work on the fields in the areas in the development sectors. So primarily in the code of conduct we do write that you need to wear something which is Indian or kurtis, something which is covered, because looking at the areas where we are working it's not considered being safe, because men are into drugs or gambling and they are drinking throughout the day. So we had faced certain challenges where molestation has happened. Even the women who are staying in those areas are not safe. So just to be on the safer side, we do write for our interns and volunteers that you are covered properly, wearing something loose so that people can accommodate like that. And that is.
So in fact, at least you can dictate. So there are organizations where there is no diktat, there is no there's no uniform, and somehow women have, so I have seen women working in the corporate sector, they've been wearing stonewashed jeans as well. So in fact you'll be surprised, at a recent conference that I attended, it was an international conference here in India. I think there were about 5,000 people attending from the corporate sector. So I had seen women representing their organization, and they were wearing resort wear, they were wearing stonewashed jeans, they were in chappals, they were wearing clothes which you can easily mistake it for, home wear, easy home wear. Some were in track pants. So unfortunately, while we have a very conscious panel here, I think women have taken the luxury a little too far in terms of no dress code, and I think that's where I felt really appalled that we really need to represent ourselves well when it comes to so to say personal branding. I think that's the space that you're in. So do you suggest that when you talk about personal branding, do you suggest that there is a certain kind of clothing conduct that you're supposed to carry?
Yes, it is. And in fact, you were talking about creating impressions. She talked about authenticity. These are all very important parts of one's personal brand. So the starting point of crafting your personal brand is authenticity, to really realize who you are and what you stand for, and then how you express yourself. But that I see the young generation in corporates now using that taking that liberty of expression to any kind of
level.
Yes. So which is why I do a lot of training with leading multinationals, where they ask me to come in and talk about executive presence, and that's in fact become one of my very popular modules that I'm doing. I talk about creating first impressions and why it's so important to create first impressions, because if you're representing your company and you just have, or you're going to an interview like you mentioned, or like you would probably also be going to a conference, your organization brand and your personal brand then get intertwined. Yeah, and you're walking a fine line. So first impressions are created in seconds, so 2.6 seconds. So 2.6 seconds is actually what you have to create that first impression. And how do you create that first impression is through your attire and through your body language. So unless there's this constant education on what really suits you and what is within the realm of appropriateness given your industry, I think this conversation needs to be an ongoing one.
True. I think, the great thing is that you started this whole brand with a focus on office wear. So there can definitely be a trust factor built in, saying, whatever you offer would have those ethics and the mandate of what you need to wear to office built in.
Absolutely.
And so I don't have to go out and say, oh, is this too deep a neck for me to wear, or, are the sleeves not right from an office perspective, because you're branding it as office wear. I already know and have that trust that this will kind of cover those basics.
True.
And I think getting that to the market is going to be a huge, build a big difference for the market.
So there's a lot of education also that goes behind, sort of creating this whole segment and discipline when it comes to office, which we are trying to do that through Office and You. And in fact, we've put that down, a lot of things on our website as well, officeandyou.in. Typically, when we talk, there was this whole era, at least that's how I started about 15 years ago. So I work in a very labor intensive segment, and even if not, there was this whole era where a woman would walk like a man, would talk like a man, would behave like a man to be accepted in a man's world. So, there was a time where I had this whole factory where there was not a single woman who was working. So I used to be completely off my rings, off makeup and off jewelry, and I would dress up like a man to be accepted. That don't look at my nails, don't look at my makeup, just accept me like a man. And I realized that has been the era where the women would also dress up like a man. So a crisp shirt with the trouser, extended shoulder blades, padded jackets, and typically wear menswear to work, to be accepted in a man's world, and primarily in India. I think it's come a long way now. Now I don't care. I mean, whether I'm a man or a woman, I don't want perks to be a woman, because my work has to speak for itself. So a lot has changed over years. So if, like you spoke about the colors, why we chose this color for you, because now I think the space that you're in, and more so because of the kind of brand that you've made for yourself, Devapriya, you don't have to behave like a man. You don't have to follow the norms of what a man in a space typically as yours would have to wear those colors. You can wear feminine colors. You can be the woman at work rather than being just the
In fact, you spoke about authenticity, and I think that's a huge part of all of us carrying our femininity with us.
Absolutely,
you know,
that's the
and
advantage. I guess.
Absolutely.
No, that's
And-
why there was this Women's Day message to have, because the whole thing is your mind models about people in corporate or people in leadership are modeled on men, and that needs to change, and that's where
Yep.
the femininity, authenticity, trueness to our style, to our energy, to whatever our inherent strengths are, needs to play in.
In fact, that is changing. That whole conversation is changing now as more and more women are, scaling heights in their careers, and they're becoming more visible. The whole challenge to sort of strike a balance between your style and your feminine side and professionalism is being answered by people like you.
So there's a very thin line. So when I choose these colors, but I also keep in mind I don't go overboard with being floral. It's distractive. I don't go overboard with the feminine aspect and the embroideries. It is distractive. So you are to the point. I do play with colors. I do play with the style. But I think, like she rightly said, so even the necklines, so or the hemlines, I think one has to be very careful about that. So, but it has to be effortless. I can easily see my secretary wearing these clothes. Otherwise, she has the choice of wearing any sort of ethnic wear and do away with it. But why not be a little more classy than what you are? I think
it was earlier more about what people expect you to wear. If you're in a corporate, you need to wear formals. If you're into development or if you're a teacher, you need to wear that suits and saris. But today the trend has been changed. So it's like more about you, what you really want to wear. Because I would like to share, because I'm into development sector. So most of the people used to expect that I would mostly be in Indian sari or suit, because you are into development, you're doing social work. But on the other hand, I'm also a girl, I'm also a woman, wherein I would like to dress up in maybe a western wear or a trouser or a short skirt. So people don't accept. So it's more about the notion that the people have as an individual.
I totally agree, because I think I relate to that a lot, because I also work in social sector.
Correct.
I have to probably visit the ministries or sometimes visit the conferences. Now, as a fashion designer, we don't have a dress code, touch wood. So,
You're lucky.
so you'll see most fashion designers wearing haggard jeans and t-shirts, even at the most important occasions. Touch wood,
I've never seen you like that. I can tell you, you've just been so appropriately attired always.
So touch wood.
And I've known you for many years.
Many
I've been
years.
seeing you for so many years. You've just not been.
So I honestly never understood that aspect of a designer, but maybe that's how the industry is, and that's how the world has accepted designers, that they can do away with whatever that they want to wear. But at the same time, I think there's a sense of responsibility even as a designer to actually carry the dress code, because if we don't carry the dress code, we can't expect somebody else to carry the dress code. Typically, I think what Gunjan said, that you act like role models for your children.
Yeah, we all have to agree that we all have that one favorite teacher of ours, and mostly it's an English teacher. And it does. Yes, I am also one. And it's not about English or any other subject. It's actually, we as teachers, we are not teaching just the academic subject, as I said earlier. We are working on their mental thing. When we are teaching, we're moving around the class, they notice us. They notice us upside down, in and out. Then they actually look forward to a teacher who's properly dressed, who is a little stylish, as we are in a westernized world. They don't want to, they connect to us, and that is how we become approachable to them. So of course, wearing something trendy or wearing something which is a fusion wear is very, very important.
Especially coming from the technology sector, I wouldn't want to miss out the startup space, you know, because technology is so well aligned to the startup technology space. And I like the collection that you've done also because, you know, it's not just the formal wear, you have these other categories. And I think someone from a startup world who doesn't want to be totally formal, you know, can also pick up from the other categories, you know, for something which is more, maybe something like this, you know, which is more flowy, you know. So it has a kind of a good mix of a corporate, yet could have a startup feel to it. So.
Since you spoke about startups, so I just want to elaborate here. So our price points are 1,000 rupees to about 6,000. So it's not, yes.
That's great. So that's great. I wanted to bring that up as well. Is that sometimes just getting a business suit off the rack is a very expensive
It's quite an investment,
proposition.
yes.
Yeah, and you don't even know if we are going to stand out because, like I said, it's just off the rack and available to everybody. But affordable luxury and affordable designer wear, if that's what you're offering us, I think we're delighted.
I discussed it sometime back with her. I said, why don't you come up with something which is a little more than Biba and a little less than Anita Dogre? Somewhere in between you have to be. Because that is how
in fact, when you spoke about the business suits, I mean, you're in Delhi practically throughout the year. So what we have jackets, but we have unlined jackets. So of course you want to be a little more dressed up, so you want to wear a jacket. I remember we talking about it a while ago. But the weather does not allow you to wear, you know, fully lined jackets, and also adding on to the bulkiness of your physique. So what we have these very well draped sort of flowy sort of jackets, which you can probably wear in your AC environment, or you can also present it, you know, when you're going for your conferences as well. Yeah.
I just can't wait to take a look at the website. you sort of answered all the queries. Price, style, color, body shape. I think it's okay.
I want to ask all of you a question, and maybe I don't know whether my research is right here or not. How many of you actually wear a crisp linen shirt, you know, tucked in the jeans or whatever, tucked in your skirt? Do you?
Ever.
Never ever. Okay. What about you?
Same edit.
Haven't in a while, but yeah, I used to. Earlier.
I would have said the same thing. Used
In
to,
a while
haven't in a while.
You know, so there's a certain myth, and I want to break it here again. So we've not discussed this. This is not pre-discussed. So so you know what? We don't have a single crisp linen or a cotton shirt when it comes to office and you. Now that is typically what you think an office wear would be. Why? Because a cotton or a linen will add to the crisp, you know, it'll stay there and it'll add to the 2 inches volume on your body.
Oh, thanks for informing me.
So it just stays there. So it just stays there. It doesn't fall. You know, unlike women, they prefer the chiffons, they prefer the georgettes, they prefer the crepes. Why? Because they fall very well. So we've only used very fluid fabrics which fall and drape on your body rather than staying stiff and adding the wrong illusion of plus 2 inches on your side. Now again, now that is a subconscious thought. Like, you wouldn't know why you wouldn't want to pick up a cotton shirt, but we've studied that, keeping in mind that this is the reason you don't pick up a cotton shirt, because it stays there. It just
But you know, to add to that, earlier when we sort of wear those, now there are some options as far as tops go, blouses which you wear tucked into your business suits and wear a blazer on top. Earlier, the formal wear brands would only offer those very crisp shorts, like shorts, collar wala. You know, literally.
Again, closer to what men would wear.
Yes.
That is what you find there.
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying again,
Marks
closer
and
to what.
Spencer, like any of the international brands, if you go to this segment would always have this crisp shirt and trousers.
But again, closer
That's
to
all.
what men would wear.
Yeah,
right? And
that
we
is what
moved
it
away
is.
from
We
that.
moved away
and that's
and
why
They
I
have
think
not moved
fabrics-
away.
However, like you're saying, the fabrics, the chiffons and all, which you normally get in Indian wear.
Yes.
That and these kind of fabric with slight sheen.
Yeah.
Those kind of things are not available. Those
Yeah.
options are not available at all.
And you
Still.
can see that in the dresses, cut from here for your.
Yeah, even for this
Yeah,
one, I mean,
this
it's
is-
got a very nice western, but the flow is really
So we of course don't
comfortable.
use chiffons for women's wear. So again, as I said, so we'll use all the advantages of chiffon and we'll do away with the disadvantages. So we would look at the textiles. In fact, we've gone to the yarn stage. So when we were developing this, so it's been almost 3 years of research gone behind this brand. And when I announced this brand almost 3 years ago, and then I realized that I don't have the right kind of textiles. So when I actually went around and trying to find out the right kind of textiles for women office wear, the mills and the textile owners said, "Ma'am, आगे से ही demand ही नहीं आई." You know, what we have is a high poly based fabrics, because that is what men's textiles is all about. Or you have relatively stiff or very coarse. Now women don't like coarse fabrics. They don't like high on polyester. They want something soft to touch on the skin, because that's how we've been always. So, or the colors. So what was available was a brown or a grey or a black. I wasn't excited myself, being an Indian, I wasn't excited myself to look at those fabrics, because that's not how our culture has been. I'm not saying go bright on neons and pinks and oranges and celebrate Diwali. No, that's not the idea. But deep inside, we are a very colorful country, and we can adorn colors very well, and with as much confidence. But I wouldn't get that in the kind of textiles I wanted. So we actually went to the yarn stage. We developed the yarns, we developed the textiles, we picked up the right colors, keeping in mind. So even the blues that I've given, or the onion pink, it is not one of those wedding onion pinks, or the olives. It's not like the bright neon olives. So we've picked up the right colors which will match the Indian skin tones.
So this collection of colors is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean, we actually go out looking for these colors and you never find anything. So I'm so glad you have this brand coming
I
up.
have
Yeah.
something in prints also, because we have seen the colors, of course, the lovely colors which is there. And
So
what
we
would you say
have-
on prints?
So we have self textures right now. What you'll see in prints would be our next collection, which will come a month. So every month we keep adding.
But prints would be there.
Prints would be there, but the prints would be more subtle prints rather than bold into your face. So we are not really looking at floral prints as of now. But unless my research and people like you, if they start demanding floral prints, we'll probably end up doing
But
that.
texture and all would be there.
Textures, of course, are there.
from what I talk about and what I've learned over the years is that formal wear doesn't really encourage too much of prints unless it's geometric.
Yes.
Typically. So
Yes.
I guess you would stick
Geometric or abstract. So we would play mostly with abstract.
and
Yes.
those kind of things,
Because
but-
it sort of takes away from from the content. So for us, you are the hero. The person who is wearing the clothes is the hero. The clothes are just supposed to sort of enhance your personality and not take away from your personality. Maybe you're in a you're in a client facing role where you're supposed to be doing the talking. I don't want my clothes to do the talking. I'm quite capable to do that as well.
Totally, absolutely.
But I don't want to take away from you. I just want that the clothes should complement you rather than the clothes becoming the hero. For that we have other labels to
to answer those needs.
to answer those
I'm
things.
very excited about your social segment as well, because I do find myself in situations where I have to go straight from trainings or coaching right into a conference or say a brand launch or something. Like today I have something coming up in the evening,
Yes.
another launch that.
Of course.
So to have something that you literally go to from 9 to 5 and then 5 onwards, something else, without having to make a mad rush and change and then go. So I think that I'm quite excited about the social vertical as well.
So the clothes, the silhouettes are such where I have mostly kept in mind myself as well, because we have multiple roles to sort of carry, and often we have to hop and skip especially in metros, we have to hop and skip going to events, going to commitments which are more than just work. You have to probably land up in a function right after your work. So I think just the right kind of accessorization could also help in, and of course we have socials, which is our third category where you can pick up clothes for a function.
So I'm quite excited about that category, the social category, because it's so difficult to go and find something. You either have totally the office wear, or then you have the casual wear, and very
Shadi wear.
yeah, or
Yeah,
the
the
shadi
shadi
wear,
wear,
and very few options on Western social, especially for corporate functions. So I'm really excited.
So we have a lot of these net jackets. So you throughout the day you wear whatever, and then you carry this net jacket with a nice collar or something. So it slightly looks formal. It has sheer, but again tone on tone. We are not going prints again there. We are not going overtly, And then we have these interesting brooches to match up. That you can probably team it up. If you don't want to wear it during the office, you can wear it post office hours. So for all those who've joined us now, we are live here on Facebook for the launch of Office NU, which is a workwear brand for Indian women. And we have gone live with our website, officenu.in. You can check us out there. And no better occasion than International Women's Day here with just the right kind of women I thought we can launch a brand with. We have Rashi Anand. Thank you so much, Rashi, for joining us. Rashi is running this NGO called Lakshyam. We have Neha Anand from HCL. We have Devapriya Khanna, who is a corporate trainer. We have Gunjan Khanna, who is a teacher from Springdale School. And we have Sakshi Trika from EY. And last bit of thoughts before we wind up, and if anybody has any questions, we are live right now. Please post in your questions right away before we wind up. Your last bit of thoughts, Rashi.
So I would like to congratulate you once again, and it was a great insight session talking about all these points, and I wish you all the very best, and thank you for calling me.
Thank you so much, Rashi. Neha.
Thank you so much for having all of us here, and it's been a very, very engaging session, and I hope the viewers got as much as we all did from this session. And really a message for Women's Day, would be, and I think just a collective from here would be, really follow your heart, be authentic, and buy from this brand, because I think it has great stuff to offer. So yeah, that would be my message.
Thank you.
I would like to congratulate you. I think you're answering a lot of questions and gaps. You're addressing a lot of gaps in the market that there are, and I'm really grateful for that. It's been wonderful meeting everyone here. It's wonderful interacting with you about this brand, and I can't wait to start shopping.
Please do, right away. officenu.in.
Yeah, I would like to thank you for coming up with Office NU. And of course, I'm really excited to buy stuff from you and then flaunt it in my school. And of course, it's not restricted to my school. We go for, inter-school competitions. We are actually all everywhere. It's not just the school. It's not just the institution. So of course, looking forward to your creations. Yeah. Thank you.
Congratulations, very well done. And the parting comments is, I really like the you and Office NU. You have put the focus back on women and where they belong to the highest level that they need to be in the office. So congratulations, and thank you for putting us on the map.
No, it is very, very important for women. I think today in India, they're scaling heights and they're creating their own success stories. It has always pained me to see that we don't have the right representation of their personalities, and I think that is what inspired me to bring this on board. And there are women in the corporate sector, there are women in the social sector, in technology, who are doing brilliant work. Clothing cannot be something that can take them a step back. So I think this is my due with 15 years of experience to give it back to you, all you women out there. I wish you all the luck and a very, very happy International Women's Day. Thank you so much for joining us live. Please log on to www.officenu.in, and we'll be happy to entertain as many queries. You are our learnings. Whatever that you think is right for you, please write to us, because you will inspire us to design better. Thank you so much.